Guys, yesterday I talked about compared the bond and annuity, and then I used the example. The way I presented it is like using the bond ladder, meaning that instead of buying one bond, I buy 20 bonds each year. Each year, I buy one different bond, and then but then you may want to ask him, why bother with the 20 bond? Why do the bond ladder? Why can't we just compare a single bond of 100 grand, $100,000, and then one bond, let's say 4% coupon rate. Coupon is another way to say that the nominal interest rate to pay, and then compare that to the annuity. That's probably fair because you're buying one annuity contract and you should buy one bond, right? Let's look at the situations that forget about the bond ladder. Let's just think about one bond. Then again, the same amount of money, $100,000, and then in the case of an annuity, we have a single premium annuity, which means that you put into the $100,000 in one shot and into annuity, and then we wait to get the money back to get your payment, right? So let's see how that works. The simple case is that if you have again $100,000 and you get let's consider bond first. You do that, wait for 20 years. Every year you got, because of 4% of coupon rate, every year you got $4,000 back. And then at the end of 20 years, you got about, 180,000 because you get your $100,000 back. That's the principal. Okay, so you're lending your money out to the corporation, to the government, whoever buying the bond, whoever issued the bond. So that's the way it works. Each year you got the coupon, you got interest, $4,000. At the end of 20 years, you got your $100,000 back. Of course, with the inflation, that 100,000 is no longer the purchasing power of that $100,000. It's no longer $100,000, but lower, in 20 years, right? So, but anyway, nominally, that's how it works. And you got a $4,000, assuming 4% coupon rate. You got a $4,000 each year. At the end of 20 years, you got your $100,000 back. Also, with the last year $4,000 interest, the coupon rate. But here's the thing, because as a bond writer, a bond buyer, you have to pay interest rate, income interest rate, not a capital gain. It's considered as an interest. Okay, so you pay income tax rate on that $4,000. Okay, but again, here is if you buy a single annuity, single premium, one annuity, then each year, let's say it's not uncommon for you to get like 6.5 payout rate. So that means that each year, you got $6,500 back as an interest payment, as the payout each year for 20 years. And if you live longer, if you compare the 20 years, in fact, I did some calculation. I found that if it's 20 years, then bond actually pays better than annuity. Okay, but after 20 years, the bond stopped. Remember, bond has a maturity date. That in our case, the 20 years, when after 20 years, the bond mature, and then no more bond, no more payout, okay? The payment stopped for bond. But for annuity, it doesn't matter. In fact, the longer the merrier, the better. The longer the better. If you live 20 years, you get a total payment less than the bond, returns. But if you keep living 30 years and 40 years, and then you get a better deal. Remember that I told you that the mortality or longevity credit. So because the insurance company, they will pull the money together. I said the idea, the logic behind this, I already said that yesterday, so I won't repeat it. But basically, it really comes down to what are you buying. If you're buying the annuity, you are basically buying the longevity insurance, or you're buying your personal pension, because year after year, month after month, you get a payment, just like a pension plan. Okay, so pension now the pension plan is it's kind of out of fashion. Only government, especially government employee, they can get a pension plan. Most the other private sector enterprise, they don't do that pension anymore, because pension is basically defined benefit. Okay, nowadays that the 401k, for example, is something called a defined contribution. Basically, the risk of investment is actually turned down to the employees, not the employer. Employers only promise to give you some money, some matching money, or for that, but there's no guarantee that how much money you will get after retirement each month, each year. They don't promise that. Okay, so that's a different story. Now with the annuity, you are basically buying your personal pension. Okay, but for bond, I mean, let's think about it this way. Even if it's just the corporations, the government, they received, they're dealing with 100,000 bond buyers. They will never put that all the money back, all the money together like insurance do. Why? Because bond is an individual investment scheme or plan. So they will never pour the money together like an insurance company will doing. So in that case, it doesn't matter whether it's 100 people buying the bond or 100,000 people buying the bond. The bond is an individual contract. Okay, insurance annuity on the other hand, it's a longevity insurance contract. So that's the fundamentally different. Let's stop here and